Headrush just dropped a sick update. Could this be our new favorite modeler? Let's dig in. Hello everybody and welcome back to the lab. Today is going to be all about Headrush. So Headrush just recently dropped the 4.0 version of their firmware for the Headrush Prime, the Headrush Core, and the new Headrush Prime Flex. This update has a bunch of cool stuff in it. It takes care of one of my biggest problems with Headrush, which is that of the lack of a remote control, which means anytime you were working with the Headrush, when you needed to work on presets or anything you were doing, you're always hunched over trying to use the touch screen. I always ended up putting it up on my desk or my workstation when I was doing those kinds of things. Plus the touchscreen, you know, I've got big calloused fingers and touchscreens and I don't generally get along. So this new remote control feature is super cool. It's just based on the Wi-Fi. You just visit a web address and it connects to your Headrush, and we're going to go into that in detail here shortly. Additionally, this update also includes their new SuperClones. So that's a really cool feature that I've been waiting for someone to do. It was inevitable, I feel like. So we're going to also go ahead and take a look at the SuperClone, see how to make a SuperClone, make our own SuperClone, and see how it works. I haven't done it yet. You're going to do it in real time with me. Then they've also added some new effects and some really cool just improvements and bug fixes. So we're going to take a look at all of those today and find out, hey, is the Headrush our favorite now? So the first thing you want to do is take your Headrush Core or Prime and update the firmware. Now you can do this over the air just with the built-in Wi-Fi. When you power up your Headrush, is going to offer for you to install the new update kind of automatically over Wi-Fi. That's what I always do. I've never had an issue with it, but just do be aware that they have had some problems with over-the-air updates with version 4.0. So you may want to actually plug this thing into your computer via USB and download the firmware for installation that way. Okay, so once you've got your version 4.0 software installed, as you can see, I've got my Headrush here on the desk, like just out of habit, even though this new update makes it so I don't even have to do that anymore. But what you're going to want to do to make sure that you're ready for this is just go into your settings here and then click on your global settings and go to the Wi-Fi tab. And what you'll see there is the new Headrush Remote. You just want to make sure that is enabled. And that is also where you will find the web address that you need to visit to access your Headrush. I think 99% of the time for everyone, that is going to be headrushcore.local. You're just going to put that into the web browser of any computer or tablet or even your phone, although this UI might not work very good on your phone, so keep that in mind. All right, so jumping right into it, let's take a look at the new Headrush Remote Control. This is super cool. As long as you have installed the update, enabled the Headrush Remote, and you're connected to the same Wi-Fi as your computer or tablet, you just visit the web address that your settings showed you. In my case, it was headrushcore.local. And that pops up something that will look very familiar because it's extremely similar to the touchscreen interface built into the Headrush. Now this is super cool because when you're sitting and working on songs or trying to find sounds and building new presets, you can sit at your console or your desk and you can leave the Headrush on the floor with the rest of your gear and easily create new presets or edit presets. We can click on this tube screamer, we can bump up the tone, maybe give it a little more drive. We can enable this glorious drive, the Morning Glory clone. Maybe we'll take the level down on that a little bit, and then we can save that. Now that's saved. We can just as easily create new rigs, and it just gives you a blank canvas, just like on the touchscreen. So we just go and we can find ourselves a clone. Let's load an amp clone. Let's load up the Glacier 6. And we'll definitely want to have an overdrive for that. I think the OCD is going to be a little bit too, yeah, let's go with a blues driver. And we'll just put the default on that. And then when we go to save, the new rig name, we'll just call it new rig test. And there we go, simple as that. You can also do your channel splitting from this screen as well. So very, very, very handy. I'm loving this. I think I'm going to get a lot more use out of my Headrush rig than I used to. A lot of times I would shy away from it simply because I would have to bend over and use that touchscreen. And not only do you have to hunch over, but me and touchscreens, we don't get along all that well. Now, the other really cool update that makes this so interesting is if you're not aware, when you purchase a Headrush Core or Prime, you get what's called the Revalver suite for free. Now, this Revalver suite comes with the amp cloner and Revalver, the app itself, and the Revalver plugins. So you can use your amp clones just directly as an insert in your DAW. But the very cool thing about this, now the amp cloner itself is the same thing that's built into the Headrush unit. So if you're familiar with cloning amps using the Headrush unit, this will seem pretty familiar. Or if you ever use Tonex, if you ever make clones on Tonex, it's very much the same thing as how you would do it on a Tonex. These new SuperClone assemblers. And what this does is usually when you clone an amplifier into your Headrush or any other profiler, you're getting just a simple snapshot of that amp and speaker combo at that time at those settings, right? And you can adjust the gain on those clones afterwards, but it doesn't necessarily react exactly like the amp would if you were turning the gain up on the amplifier. So what they've done here is they're allowing you to take multiple snapshots and combine them. And so I made a couple of clones previous to this so that we could test this out. Oh, there they were. All right, so I made these BadCat, I cloned a BadCat amp real quick. And you can see I've labeled them 0 through 4. 0 is relatively clean, and then 1 is a little more gain, 2 is more gain, 3 is more gain, and 4 is just pegged. I pegged the gain. And what you want to do is the first clone that you add to the SuperClone is what's going to be played when you're at low gain settings on the SuperClone. And then on your way up, right? So 0 is clean, and that's turned all the way down on the SuperClone. The next one would be as you're turning the gain up. The next one as you're turning the gain up more. The next as you're turning the gain up even more. And finally, in my case, this is dimed. And so you just choose. You go choose those clones you made, and I tell them the order of gain from cleanest to dirtiest gain, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to combine these into one SuperClone for us. And the SuperClone, you can also decide, hey, as I turn the gain up, also increase the volume level. If you want it to just affect the gain, you want to choose no. If you would like it to also turn up the volume, you want to hit yes. In my case, this particular amplifier, the gain knob doesn't increase the volume that much, and I just want it to try and be as close to the original as possible, so I'm going to choose no. Then you hit next, choose a skin of your liking, and we will call this the BadCat SuperClone test. And we did a BadCat. We captured this through a Mesa Road King 412. And we captured no pedal with this. So we just save that, and it's going to go ahead and create this SuperClone and save it. And then we are going to be able to see the results. I haven't done this yet. This is my first SuperClone, so I'm finding out with you how well it works. So let's grab a guitar. Okay, so now we've got our SuperClone loaded here in the player, and you'll see it started off at 0 gain. So this should be our clean. Let's find out. There we go, yeah. Very cool feature. This makes the Headrush pretty appealing. I think these new features, if you're looking for a new modeler, or if you've been ignoring the Headrush, I think it's time to give it another look. I don't think you can ignore Headrush anymore. This is super cool. Now the cool thing is, now that we've got this SuperClone made, we can transfer this SuperClone to our Headrush hardware unit and use it live or in the studio on the unit itself. The other thing we can do with it now is we can actually use the Revalver plugin, and we'll be able to load up the Revalver plugin. You'll see the session I'm working with Reaper here to record the audio for this video. But so I've got Revalver on this track here randomly, so we can open up Revalver, and all you have to do is, let me go back on this. Let's go brand new here. Let's clear everything. Okay, so this is how Revalver would normally pop up for you. So what you want to do is click here to add a module, and what you do is you'll say Headrush Amp Cloner Player. You can use this to play any Headrush amp clones. So you can transfer from your Headrush unit to your computer and load them up in the Revalver plugin. What we want to do is find our BadCat SuperClone, and here we now have our BadCat SuperClone as a plugin in Reaper. So that is pretty cool, man. Multiple ways to use the clones you're making in Amp Cloner or in your Headrush unit. You can use them in the plugin, you can use them in the unit itself, or Revalver is also its own standalone application for Mac or PC. So that about sums up the big features that I really wanted to dig into, but it is worth noting that there are a couple of new effects they added as well. They added a splicer, and they added an entirely new spring reverb unit. They are definitely cool. They're worth checking out. So if you haven't updated already, it's time to update. And if you have been, on the fence about Headrush, trying to choose between modelers, I think Headrush really just upped its game quite a bit with this new release. So there we had it. Super cool new stuff from Headrush. Let me know what you think of these updates in the comments below. What do you think of the new effects? Isn't that remote freaking awesome? And then also SuperClones. What do we think? Don't forget, we are giving away some really cool stuff right now. We're giving away this KGD Stratocaster. We're giving away these Mosky clones. So make sure, if you haven't already, you're entering the contest in the video description. Make sure you like and subscribe, and best of luck. Can't wait to draw the first winner. Thanks again for joining us in the lab. We've got some really cool episodes coming up around recording with your Headrush or Kemper or Tonex, just some techniques that everyone should be using. We're going to cover all of those in some future episodes. So make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to enter the competition, and we'll see you next time.